realized that, there we go. I realized that attendance has been a big issue, a big time suck for you guys. And when they asked me to kind of, hey, come up with some type of way to make it trackable for our teachers, a form was the first thing I landed on. Now, until you see that stuff in action, it's hard to determine whether or not that's the most efficient way to track attendance. And as it turns out, I don't think it is. But I think that trial and error has taught us that. So an alternative attendance procedure was put forth, and it is an option for you guys. We've now trained the kids where to go when they come into your Google Classroom. They know that they're supposed to look at the top of the Google Classroom for the mandatory attendance, well, form. But the suggestion has been made, and I think Ms. Hasso was kind of a part of this and had this thought as well, that we change from a form to a question. I'm going to share my screen with you guys so that you can see. Sorry, I got some people that are just joining, and I'm feeling your pain, guys, because normally I'm a participant in Zoom meetings and not running them, but you guys are on this end. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. If guys, can you please mute yourselves for me? Let's see. Okay, I'm going to share my screen real quick so that you can see what was proposed.
Coop.
Yes.
Dr. Clark made an announcement when you were saying all that. We had
two
things coming through the speaker. Can you repeat that, please?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, so I was asked to kind of put together something that teachers can use to track attendance. And so I settled on a form, but I didn't know if that is a way to do attendance, but I don't know if that's the best way to do attendance. And my concern now after seeing it in action is that it's far too laborious for my teachers. I want to make sure that we're giving you ways to be more efficient and not bogging you down on attendance matters. I mean, we all know why attendance is important. But surely there's a better way than what we initially proposed. And if there is, let's not be afraid to make a change. And so that change, one of the proposals Ms. Hasso was involved in, I think, kind of putting this together, was making a question, an attendance question that we can use instead of a form. So let me show you what that looks like. Please have a seat, baby. I'm sorry, I got a 6-year-old that's in my office. But let me share my screen. Okay, I sent out a question. I did the steps in the email that Dr. Clark sent out yesterday at 2:12. She gave us some steps for an alternative attendance procedure. So this morning I went in and I said, okay, let me see if I can do this and see how it looks. So I assigned all of you, since y'all are all students in our training class, this is the training class. I assigned it this morning. We've trained kids to look here at the top of the screen for a mandatory attendance form check-in. That's where they go when they come into your classroom. The instructions on the potential change is we delete this form from our Google Classrooms, and instead we post a question. And I don't really even care what the question is. It's not, it can be subject related, but it doesn't necessarily have to be, because we're just using that to see if they checked in. So I just posted, is the sky blue? Now, some of you responded to that and some of you did not. So I click on it. You're seeing it from a teacher's end now. When I click on it, I see who's responded and who has not. I see that 6 people have turned it in and 34 have not. I click on view question, and here was the thing I did like about this. It shows me who has responded to that question. But more importantly, for your purposes, this may make it easier for you because it shows me who has not responded to that question. And so for attendance purposes, I thought, well, that might be beneficial for our teachers. Maybe that makes it easier for you, so you're not having to bounce back and forth between your spreadsheet and your Skyward. So some of you have already started to kind of make adjustments to the way you're doing attendance so that it's more efficient for you. This is only a suggestion. It's not a mandate from us, but I think there are some positives to doing it this way. You see that there's several people who have not turned in this question or answered or responded to this question. One of the positives that I saw was that you can email, like if I select all the people who have not checked in today, well, since this is our attendance check-in, I can send them an email from this screen.
A quick
So
question.
it allows me to send out an email to those students and notify them and say, hey, you haven't done your attendance check-in today. Please do so at this time. So I don't know if that makes things more efficient for you on your end, guys. But I think that there are some teachers who have put this in place, and I think that they like the results. Ms. Hasso, I'm going to stop my share real quick. If you can kind of chime in real quick, because I think Dr. Clark said that you were a part of this idea. Give us some thoughts.
Who was it? Amanda Lewis. She came in and talked to me about it. I think it was on Monday, and so I kind of tested it out. And I know Dr. Clark. I told her that I used it kind of as a bell ringer. So it was content related, and she said that she didn't necessarily want it to be content related because she was concerned that kids would just not do it. And I teach RISE kids. They all did it because it wasn't I didn't make it right or wrong. So I posted it. I saw all their answers. They could see each other's answers. So like maybe they could be like, oh, well, my classmates think it's this, so I'm going to pick that answer. And then the next day I went in and I posted up, this is the correct answer. This is why. Congrats to those of you who got it correct. And they did that, and they still did my attendance form because I had both of them up still. And I compared the two, and all the ones who did the question also did the form. So, I mean, you take one away, you're probably going to get even better results. So it worked fine for me. And you can also see it, like it listed in the grade book too, and it's ungraded. So it just has like a little check mark. So you can see it multiple places. And I think Coach Wilkinson had a question.
I do.
Go ahead, Coach.
On those responses, I noticed they were not in alphabetical order. Is there a way to alphabetize them? Because if we still have to transpose them to Skyward, it's easier to do it when they're alphabetized.
Yes.
Ms. Hasso?
Yes, there is.
You can do that?
You can sort it by last name.
Okay. All right, let's see. Go ahead, Coach Martin. Unmute yourself, Coach. 1 second.
I'll have to make it to him. Not that I should be making any technology comments, but I was talking today to Mike Lawrence, and he was saying that if we take it and we do it individually in each class, so I make a separate one for fourth period, I make a separate one. Now you're just looking at them, and it's not, there's not going to be 500 kids on that list. So that might be a suggestion that, like we did those other things, you copy it to that class.
Okay. So
real quick on that, the thing, I think those of you who are wanting something easier because of all the different clicks, this is easier. It takes away the form. There's no form, there's no spreadsheet, there's nothing. It still tracks it. It keeps it like in a grade book column. And so I don't know, can I share my screen?
let me see if I can allow you to do that.
You have to make her a host. Make Ms. Hassel a host, and she can share it.
Oh, I did. I just allowed participants to share screen. I think you can do it now, Ms. Hasso.
Okay, it might take me a second. Hold on. Where do I have it?
Should be down at the bottom in the middle.
Okay, and hold on. No, I see the share screen. I need to make
okay.
sure I have the right screen open so I can share it, because I don't even know if I have my classroom open yet.
But just to clarify while she's pulling that up, we have to actually change it every day. We have to post it every morning,
Let me get the instructions.
You can schedule it.
but every day.
Yes.
Schedule
Well,
it every day.
You have to schedule it every day.
Because Amanda Lewis, her video showed how she scheduled like a full week out. So she said that it took her like about 5 minutes to create the question in her first period, and then you can copy the post. And then it took her about 2 minutes to copy the post, per each other class. So roughly maybe 30 minutes. I might be rounding up a little bit. I don't know.
And that's a good question and a good point, Ms. Terrell. And really, I was thinking more about the back end, the amount of time it takes you to actually put the attendance in Skyward. I know that has been a big time suck for you guys, and I want to make sure that we're trying to find ways to minimize that amount of time so you can focus on stuff that you want to be focused on and not having to focus so much on attendance. Oh, here we go.
Okay, so like this is the one I did yesterday. So this was my old attendance form. And I know some of the teachers had turned it into an assignment. So I tried that out. So you can see the ones who did that. This was my bell ringer right here. So that was just the question. And you can see it's turned in. Like, and see, like all of them did it. This girl right here, she didn't come to class last year. She's probably not going to come to class this year. So, but anyways, you see everyone did it. This was the previous day. And then if you're talking about the sorting, there's your sort by first name, last name. Okay, and that's in the grade book though. So for classwork, I think you can sort it in the classwork too if you wanted to. Let's see. Oop. Hold on. Can't move my screen. Okay, so sort by status,
Yeah.
sort by last name right there. Okay, so you have your different sort options here too. Does that help?
Well, that answers Coach Wilkinson's question, and his concern was, can you arrange those by last name to make it easier in Skyward to find out and to track attendance? And it looks like that is a possibility, and that will work. So again, it's not a mandate to use this way, but if you found that the form that we initially pushed out is too labor intensive for you, by all means, I'm all for you guys trying things that will allow you to keep track of it and make it more efficient on your end.
I can show them how it looks for the student too, real quick.
Okay.
I'll pretend I'm Logan. Let's see. All right, so they can see it. That's the attendance form. Oh, maybe I didn't post it to this class. I guess I didn't post it to my live class. I'm sorry. Or my practice class.
Okay.
Never mind. I can't show you like that because I didn't post it at that one this time.
Good.
Okay. Any other questions before I stop sharing? No? Okay.
I have a
All right.
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So how's that going to work for saving it? Do you just have to not delete that from your grade book?
Ms.
I would
Hasso?
leave it there. I would just leave it there.
Ma'am?
Leave it there, Coach
I would
Mullins.
leave it in the grade book.
Okay.
Is that going to create more clutter on our classwork page?
Possibly.
Like if it stays there, is it just going to be like a big long laundry list of daily attendance and then they're going to have to scroll all the way down to get their assignments and stuff?
Ms. Hasso, how does that look? Or do we know yet?
We won't really know until we have them there. You could, I'm not sure if there's like an option to hide assignments.
Oh, Ms. Clements brings up a good point. She said you can make a topic and put it at the bottom of the page and move the past days to it, Coach. So that's a good solution. So you put prior days attendance topic, put it at the very bottom of your page, and then drag the prior day's attendance down into that, so it's at the bottom of the page and not the top, Coach.
Victoria,
Does that make
you know?
sense?
Yeah.
Hey,
I know
Ms.
that-
Roberts.
When we had the attendance sheet as a form, I posted it every day as an assignment. So I would just come in and post it as an assignment. Now, I would delete the one the day before, but it was all the information from the day was still always on the spreadsheet.
Okay.
So if you do it that way, it'll remain on the spreadsheet. It just won't remain on your classroom page.
And that's if you're using the Google form.
I guess if you want to get rid of the Google form and you don't want those up on your gradebook, maybe you could take a screenshot of it and just save some screenshots, in a Google Drive folder or something like that. That'd be easy enough to do.
So there are several options. We wanted to just throw another one out there for you guys. We're trial and error is showing that you guys, because y'all are doing it every day, y'all are figuring out more efficient ways of taking attendance, and that's what I definitely want is a more efficient way of taking attendance. I want to respect your time, guys, and I know I'm running out of it. We could spend plenty of time on attendance, but I need to make sure I remind you about the remote call log. I had, as of last night, about 8 o'clock, I had about 12 of you that had submitted that to myself and my secretary, Casey Jowers. If I can get you guys who have not yet done that to take a look at the process, I included, it's in your email from Dr. Clark, and I included a video in your agenda for today that I sent all of you. So if you haven't yet done that and you don't know how to do it, please watch that video that I attached. It's a 4-minute. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think I received an email from you.
Uh-oh. So I didn't share. I need to share the agenda with you.
Yes, please.
Check
Okay.
your Google Apps one.
Okay, that's what it is.
Oh, okay.
Let me get you.
Crystal has a question.
Go ahead, Crystal.
I have some concerns with that call log thing. I just want to know, are you getting my full comments? Because I'm dealing with the language learners and some of them aren't even located in the district right now.
Mhm.
And so I'm trying to put whether they're located in country or in another state.
Right.
And even the progress that we're having, tracking them down.
Yeah, we have one that's like in Arkansas, and I don't know if or when they're ever coming back. Is that one yours, Crystal?
Yeah, it's Alabama. And
Oh, Alabama, yeah.
I know there's some other ones that have told me, oh, well, I'll decide later if I'm coming back. And if they're that nonchalant about it, and they're currently enrolled, I don't think that's quite fair to the people who are actually here and who are doing what they're supposed to do.
Right.
And also on that regard, while we were making our contact calls, we kind of did it in the wrong order and we changed that yesterday. But the ones we made contact with the day before, we had said, this is what you need to do. And then we took a find out with where they were. So they started doing stuff, but they're not even located, in Dickinson.
Right.
And for that matter, they're in other states.
Right. Well, I know Casey is calling on that. I need to check because those are some special circumstances, Crystal.
Yeah. And so I just want you to be aware that that is happening. And we're trying to help you out tracking down language learners right now.
Right. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I know that Casey has been calling for all of you who have done the remote call log. Casey has 2 scripts. She's either calling those kids who haven't shown up yet. Actually, I think that Angie Estes is withdrawing those kids who haven't shown up yet. So all of them, that's important information for Angie because she's got to drop them. And those that have shown up and have been in there, but they're not doing any work, that's a different script for Casey. And she is calling for the 12 of you who have submitted your remote call log. Casey's working on that daily. 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the afternoon. So she's making a ton of phone calls for you guys. So if you can please get that to us today before the end of the day. The instructions are included in the, or at least some scenarios are included in the agenda that I sent to you guys. Next on the agenda was 504s. Some of you have seen that I've been pushing out some
Quick question about the call log first.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, question.
If you contacted them and they're now starting to get online, do I take them off that list?
Let's see.
I know it's a live action list, so if I just take them off, they'll quit calling them, right? So,
Right. Well, yes, that's correct. That's correct.
okay.
It says so there's 2 reasons you'd put them on there. One for 3 consecutive absences, in case you'll call on those. And the other is if they have 3 zeros and they have a failing average. So if they reach either of those thresholds, then Casey's making phone calls to them. So she's trying to help with contact. So you guys can
catch
focus
back
on
up,
it.
I can take them back off that list, right?
Yes. Yeah. If they've started getting with the program. Yeah. Any other questions about the call log real quick? Okay. 504s. I was kicking this around, and I know me and Trahan have gone back and forth on this, but he's like, I don't want to put anything more on the teacher's plates. And I agree. However, 504s, whether we do it now or do it later, are going to have to be done. So are ARD meetings and things of that nature. So I started trying to get some of those 504s pushed out for next week. I'm sending Google Forms out for PLAF purposes, you won't know these kids, probably. You won't have a whole lot to put down for PLAF purposes. But I did want to go, since we're in a remote environment, I wanted to make sure I spoke with the parents, spoke with the kids, and found out if there was any additional information or needed information that needs to be in front of you guys so that you can be aware of it. Does everybody here, and I know I have some new teachers, do all of you know how to find a 504 student or who your 504 students are in Skyward? If you do not, kind of raise your hand so I can see, and most of you look like you do. I attach that in Skyward. I attach it as an attachment under the section 504 heading on the left-hand side. Now, I know what it looks like on the administrator screen when I look at Skyward. I'm not 100% sure what it looks like on the teacher screen. I think that you guys have an option where you can just click on and identify all of your 504 students at one time, correct?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. Well, then it should be my 504 paperwork for each of those kids should be in there as an attachment, and it won't just be mine. It'll be all of the APs as they go through and they do 504s. We're doing all of those on Zoom, and usually Zoom 504s are much more efficient than face-to-face 504s. You don't have to wait for the parent to show up. I mean, I can crank out a 504 in about 15 minutes. So I really like doing the 504s virtually if possible, because it's much more efficient. SPED, Kim Fouts said I needed to mention some stuff about SPED. Case managers, you guys are getting PLAF information and information from teachers at this time. They're starting to schedule ARD meetings. If you happen to be scheduled for an ARD meeting during your conference, please make sure that you attend. Any of you who feel like, oh my gosh, this is like my 4th ARD meeting in the last 2 weeks, if you feel like it's an excessive amount of ARD meetings that you've been scheduled to attend, please let me know. And then I'll get with Kim and we will remedy that situation. Because I know sometimes they just try to get teachers where they can get them. So if you seem to be getting an excessive number of ARD meeting requests, let me know and then I'll handle that. Make sure if a SPED kid is failing that you've documented any contact with parents. That's important on the legal side of things. And if they're in danger of failing, make sure that you have documentation of how you've attempted to give them the accommodations that they're entitled to. So make sure that if a SPED kid's going to fail, that you've done all the things that is included in their paperwork that need to be done for them. Are there any questions about that? I'm talking to Oh, Dr. Clark sent out the call log video, Crystal says in the chat notes. There was something else in the chat real quick. I'm not seeing 504 paperwork where I thought it was last year from Rachel.
Yeah, I thought it was in like one of the other access drop-down sort of menus, but
Okay.
I'm not seeing it. And then like a lot of, I don't know if it's just my Skyward, but a lot of the Skyward, all the little symbols that represent things, the only thing I see right now is the blue one for SPED.
Okay, well, let me give you a kid and see if, well, no, you'd have to have that kid in your class to be able to see it.
I mean, I have the other access, but because I have the student management too, but I'm not seeing it like in the grade book type of thing.
Okay. Again, I don't know what your drop down in Skyward looked like last year. I know that when I put it into Skyward, I always attach the PDF of our meeting notes and stuff.
Yes, I remember being able to see it, but I don't know, maybe I need to look at Alessi's
Okay.
and see.
Mine is there.
Is it?
Like,
Is there?
like on the like when you first open up Skyward in the little box off to the top left, when I click on it and it says my section 504 students, mine is there.
I might have to come look at yours.
Okay.
Okay. If you do have questions or you don't know where to find that stuff, please let us know and I'll come by or we'll get together with another teacher nearby so that we can make sure that you guys know how to locate that stuff. The 504 stuff, I always thought when I was in the classroom that the SPED stuff would be the thing that would get me in trouble if I wasn't following those accommodations. And as it turns out, now that I'm on the other side, kind of on the administrative side, I see that the 504 stuff is actually more litigious than the SPED stuff in a lot of ways. You know, the 504 stuff can slip. It's easier to slip through the cracks, I think, sometimes. So just be aware of who your 504 students are. You know, something as simple as like a kid with diabetes or that needs to have water or needs to have food with them. You know, make sure you're aware of that, because if you're not, then you're just trying to enforce your regular classroom rules, and it can just become an unnecessary problem. So just be aware of who your 504 kids are and what their conditions are that qualify them for 504. And Dr. Smith mentioned it, the last bullet point here on my agenda today, 172 laptop computers. I talked to Kim last night. She said they're all being imaged. They are only for teachers here at the main campus, because the ninth grade teachers already have laptops over there. They've been given relatively new laptops. So 172 laptop computers, which should cover every classroom teacher, will arrive before next Friday, is what she said. But according to Dr. Smith this morning, she said today and tomorrow. So that's really a positive. So hopefully that really helps with some of the technology issues that we might have been faced with. And my goodness, I've tried to track down every single ladybug in the building, and I'm about out of places to look for those things. So any questions before we get out of here, guys? It's 8:30 right now, and I know you guys have things to do. I see Nicole. Go ahead, Nicole, and then I'll get to Miss Terrell.
Yeah, I have a ladybug, and as long as we're doing digital stuff, I don't need it since I have the computer with the camera.
Okay.
So if someone wants to borrow mine and use it, that's fine.
Okay. All right, great. Okay. I know you guys, some of you have first period Zoom meetings to attend, guys. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, please shoot me an email and I'll get with you. This is being recorded, so I can see if I can post this to my YouTube page in case you made it late to the meeting. So thank you, guys. Please let me know if you need anything. I'm here to help, okay? Bye, guys.